What's good, everybody? Man, it's your boy, Mr. CDK, and I got a special guest, man, Mr. Brian Norman Sr. in the building. How you doing this morning, sir?
You got it right. I'm all right, man. How you doing?
All right, man.
I'm doing good. So, man, June 19th, there's a lot of news going on, and your son got a big fight coming up in Tokyo. I guess his name is Jin Sasaki. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Is
Yeah,
it?
that's it. That's right.
Have you been able to really get any film on him, or did y'all know about him beforehand? Have you been able to watch any of his fights and see, what he brings to the table?
Yeah, I watched a lot of this fight.
What do you think about him as a fighter?
I mean, he seems to be a strong puncher. Seems to be aggressive. Really tries to do what he do or whatever else. But it is what it
Yeah,
is.
it is what it is. Ain't no doubt about it. I know y'all gonna go over there and take care of business. That's
Right.
that's one thing I know for sure. You know what I'm saying? One thing about you and your son, y'all, you know what I'm saying, y'all always well prepared. You know what I'm saying? So I know business will be taken care of. Now, moving on from that fight, say everything goes well. The big news is Jerron Boosin is going up to 154 now. Uh do you think do you think he was forced to 154? I kind of feel like they've been putting pressure on him to go for a minute. What do you
Man,
think about that?
I know all about it. And Jerron Ennis is running to 154. I don't care what nobody says.
Okay, okay,
Jerron
hey,
Ennis, Jerron Ennis, and Eddie Hearn just made the offer for Jerron Ennis for him and my son to fight in October, November, or December. My son said out loud and publicly, we're gonna discuss this fight right after my fight. It could be a minute after my fight. It could be a day after my fight. We're gonna make this fight happen. We're gonna lock it in. There's no there's no there's no doubt in my mind that they announced a possible move up
yes,
five
sir.
days before. That's a possible move up 5 days before my son fought. It was a sway the news. That's all. It was a sway the news, so everybody already be looking forward to that, and they won't call him a duck since he said he wanted that fight, and we was gonna give him exactly what he wanted, and they won't be able to call us ducks because we never duck shit. There was
Eh,
literally no time in this lifetime that my son and him could have ever fought. Even when they offered 1.7 million, that we told, okay, let's up it a little bit more, and he went back and paid Stanionis more money. Even though that all of that was done, this fight still wouldn't happen because my son's hand injury wasn't completely healed yet. So no matter what, it would not have happened in 2024. Other
right.
than that one fight, there's no all other offers been made.
And you know what? You just get a whole nother outlook on it, and you know what's going on behind the scenes. And that is strange because Boots has been saying this whole time his whole goal was to be undisputed at 147. And with your son fight coming up, like you said, and then offer on the table for October, why not stick around and wait on your son to take care of business? Yeah, that is real strange.
Not to mention, not even wait, because he put out a tweet. He put out a tweet the other day that says he's not waiting on nobody or waiting on whatever he said. What you mean waiting? You do not have a fight, sir. So who are you waiting on? What are we talking about? It's not like you got something lined up right now for somebody. You said you're not coming out back to fight until October, November, December. Eddie said possibly September. We can fight in either one of those months. We can fight in September, October, November, December. We can fight any month he want to fight in. He does not want to fight my son. Why he don't want to fight my son? I don't know. He don't want to fight him.
So you feel like it's more of a move of him not wanting to fight, and that's what the move is with Eddie Hearn.
I'm 1,000% possible because if you go back and look at the latest interviews that not Eddie, that Mosley put out, he said possibly. So you mean to tell me 5 days before my son's fight, your big exposed fight, you said you're possibly going to move? So what is that possibility based on? Could it happen to be based on who wins this fight this weekend? Bro,
Mm.
it's deeper than what people think, man. It's not hard to see. See, the problem is everybody makes excuses for him and gives him excuses, and he don't even make them for himself. They give them to him for him.
Right.
Did you know? And I know everybody likes to put this narrative out there. Did you know that he has literally never come out his mouth and said it was hard for him to make 147? Me and you
I
right now,
know
you got my huh?
I've never heard him say that. I got to be one thing about me. I keep it real. I ain't never heard him say that.
He's never said. He's never said it. He's never said he had a problem making one for people. Say it. He allowed people to talk for him. He has never said he had a problem making 154. I mean, I'm sorry, 147. He has never said that. In fact, he said the opposite. He said it was easy. Go after the Stanionis fight. He was like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all saying that. That's the fan saying. And I'm saying the same thing with me beating the man in person. He ain't that fucking big.
So he's not a big. He's not a. You don't think he's a
No,
very big
no,
welterweight?
no.
Mm.
He's not that big. He's probably right there at the max, but he's not that big. He probably walk around. I'm gonna give him 174, 175. That's it.
Okay, that like you said, I've never heard him say he had a problem making weight, and it did come out of nowhere. And I'm a, I wanted to ask you this: with you being, basically guiding your son's career, it really made me mad. But for one, I don't like Teofimo Lopez. I don't like some of the things he said when it comes pertaining to us. And I wanted somebody to take that fight with him. And I think that was a fight that would catapult. Like, you got, like, I'm keeping it 100. There's a lot of black people that wanted Boots to take that fight with T.O. on the strength
Me
of the
too.
things he's been saying and beat him
Yeah,
up. How do
yeah.
you turn down that fight? If that's you and your son, what do y'all do in that situation?
What I'm thinking is, again, I was just talking to somebody about that. You can go back and you can look for yourself. Every interview that Boost did before he became a champion, and even after the first time he became a champion, it was, I'm willing to fight anybody. I want all the names. I want all the smoke. I beat him at this. I beat him at that. Three people went to calling him out: Virgil Ortiz, Teofimo Lopez, and Brian Norman Jr. Those three
Yeah,
people he is not willing to fight. Jerome Boost will not fight anybody that wants to fight him. So they want to call him the boogeyman, yet still he's always just slightly out of way for him to fight those people. They want to give him the narrative. Oh man, how you gonna duck somebody in the higher division? Okay, well now you in that division, so you just ducked him a fight ago. So well, you could have fought him then. You know what I'm saying? That's a bigger fight than Stanionis. Virgil Ortiz is a bigger fight than Stanionis.
yes,
You know what
definitely,
I'm
definitely. And
saying?
I think Tio would have been a really big fight for him.
Teofimo is a really big fight. That's bigger than Stanionis. You know what I'm saying? It's not bigger than for the accolades of the unification and the belt
Yeah,
situation, but as far as the money and as far as everything else, Teofimo is a much bigger fight. I think he could beat Teofimo Lopez. He said he could beat Teofimo Lopez. His
yeah,
father said he could beat Teofimo Lopez. So why would you not take this fight? Why would you not just take the easy? You do not have a fight. They was offering the fight for August the 16th. He does
yeah,
not have a fight. He's scrambling, bro. He's scrambling to do some bullshit, and people gonna keep giving him passes. They're gonna keep making up stuff until they don't. They gonna realize it. The way he moved and the way they got it to where he can do what he want to do and say what he want to say, he gonna shoot himself in the foot, no doubt.
yeah. And I definitely agree with you. And if you look at Teofimo Lopez, Tio power hasn't translated up to 140. Nothing else. Your son he got real power. Boots has a really good chin. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he can stand up to those shots from your son, but T.O. doesn't have power. Boots was
Right?
supposed to go in there and the same thing your
Step
son
on,
would do to T.O. Just step
step
on.
on. Yeah.
It hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? It hurt a lot of people's feelings because we really wanted T.O. out of there, man. I wanted them out of there.
Somebody they wants. I mean, we had a guy on the squad to my black people. We had a guy on the squad that had the opportunity, he had the means, he had the time. And when I say time, you're going to 154, you're not fighting for a title. So why not
Right.
fight? And you was willing to stay at 147. So now it's not about unification no more. So what is it about? They said he wanted to unify, but now you're not fighting T.O. because of what? You're not
Mm,
fighting T.O. They gonna keep moving the excuses. The excuse was he's not fighting Teofimo because he don't have a belt at 147. He want to unify. Okay, well now we see that's not true because he's leaving 147. Now he's going to 154, and he's no doubt is not gonna fight for a belt. Okay, he's not gonna fight for a belt at 154. So what's the real reason he didn't fight Teofimo Lopez? What's the real reason he didn't fight Brian Norman Jr.? You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
What do we
definitely, definitely.
what do we? It's so many excuses. Listen, it's so many excuses that you cannot explain. There's so many
Mm,
things you can't explain. They're giving him these excuses. He's not even making the excuses. They're giving them to him.
yep, yep.
But again,
And
that's why I said it's gonna come to an end soon because none of it makes sense.
and you know what's crazy? if you're talking about legacy, Teofimo is a good fight to have on your resume. A
That's the
very
only.
good.
That's Stanionis was a decent fighter to have on your resume, even though he hadn't been tested and he was put on the same level as Boots when it comes to being tested. But he only had 15 fights. His best win was over a guy with 6 fights. His best
Yeah,
win was over Gabriel Maestre, and he had 6 fights. That was his best win. You know what I'm saying? So to add a Teofimo, to add a Virgil Ortiz, you put yourself on a whole nother stratosphere. You know what I'm saying? You know, make yourself a real star. You know what I'm saying? You know, get outside the field, get out. You know what I mean? Make something shake. It's crazy, man. It's crazy the way they move. Again, it's gonna
yeah,
come out. It's gonna the way they are. It's like a spoiled child. When you allow a spoiled child to do something, when it's time for you to put them in line, it's kind of hard to get them back in line. You get what I'm saying?
definitely, definitely. I know exactly what you're saying, and what I think what's going to happen now. Really, Booth had the opportunity to run a gauntlet. In a sense, if you could have took Devin Haney wanted to fight with him. You know, you got two guys coming up, smaller guys coming up from lower weight classes, right? Even if he didn't fight your son, he could have fought Devin Haney and Tio. You know what I'm saying? If your son, what do you think about those fights for your son?
I love them, and we're gonna take it. We're gonna take them. We're gonna show y'all how to take fights when they offer it. We're gonna take them.
Yeah,
It ain't gonna be
man,
no excuses. We wanted this and we wanted that from the man. We gonna take them.
man. You know what's crazy? Your son about to really have some real legacy fights that I know he can win. T.O. Devin, and man, really, he's gonna be able to catapult Boots with no problem as far as stardom and everything goes, because I feel like Boots has turned down those opportunities. Now I'm hearing
Listen,
he's saying he wants to fight with Erson Lubin or either Keith Thurman at 154 next before going into a fight with Virgil Ortiz. Like, a lot of stuff ain't making sense to me.
it's not making sense. And again, like I said, they're gonna keep giving him excuses and everything else. But I mean, you got to think about it. You got to think about it simple as this. Uh, like you said about legacy. At 147, he unified. He unified and he won the lineal because you fight for the lineal when you're 1 and 2. So if my
Right.
son come back, listen, if my son come back and unify 2 belts and get the lineal, then guess what? Brian Norman just surpassed what he did already.
Mhm.
So he really making it easy for us to beat him in legacy right now at 25, 24, 25 years old. So again,
Right.
we welcome it. We cool with it. If he want to run, let him run. My thing about him running is I don't like the fans giving this man excuses when he don't even make them for himself. He's a duck, bro. He's a duck. Call it what it is. That's all I'm saying. Why he ducking, I don't know. But the fact he's a duck, he's a duck. Simple as that.
I'm wondering because I think what the fans really like. I'm the type of person, when I see your son, I see talent. I've been in the ring. I've been around boxing, so I'm one of those guys that I'm the type of guy that can like more than one fighter. You see what I'm saying? Like, I ain't one of these guys like I put my
Yeah,
feet in the sand. And I love your son. I love Boost too. They're very talented. I wanted to see that
yeah.
fight.
You
The
can
thing
and you
I'm
can
looking
be
at,
it. Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying? The thing I'm looking at is this right here. I think the fans see a whole lot of talent in Boots, and they don't want to make excuses for him, but they can't figure out what it is that he don't see in himself. It's something missing, or somebody on his
no,
team is
no,
advising
no.
him wrong.
It ain't that they can't figure out what he don't see himself because they believe that he's the goods and they believe that he's doing and saying everything it is. But when you look at it, he's not even doing what he said he's gonna do. He said he wanted to become undisputed. He's not trying to become undisputed. He said he wanted to fight all the big names. He's not
Mhm.
trying to fight all the big names because he been offered 2 of them and he turned them down. So what are you trying to do? You said
Right.
you wanna. You said you only want to fight. You said you only want to fight. For unification bouts. He ain't trying to do that because he ain't fighting for unification bout. If you fight Erickson Lubin or Keith Thurman, that's not a unification bout. So what are you actually doing? For him, for Keith Thurman is
Yeah.
old. Keith Thurman been out of the game for a long time. That's not gonna move the needle on nothing.
No, it's not.
No.
If you fight Keith Thurman, you should have fought Teofimo Lopez.
Absolutely. That's what I was about to say. Teofimo Lopez at this point in the career, not before, but at this point in the game, is a bigger name and a name on his resume than Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is old, been gone for what, 5, 6 years. He had a
Yeah.
torn biceps, had an injury. Like, Come on, bro. What are we talking about? Just don't even make sense.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't make sense. For y'all, you take care of business on June 19th.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah,
with your
man. That's what
Japan.
we doing, man. We were looking to take care of business, man. We're gonna keep winning. We're gonna keep making it. We're gonna keep making statement performances, and we gonna let the world know what's what, and they're gonna be calling for it, and then they're gonna realize who actually ducked in the first place. They're gonna realize.
Let me ask you this: once you okay, because I got y'all taking care of business. Once business is taken care of, Boots now we know is out of the way. That's you can mark that off for now. You know, how did this go now? I mean, what do y'all want for see? What do you see next?
I mean, I don't know. Fight by fights. Bring nobody's clamoring down the door and knocking down the door to fight my son. That's just a real deal of it. I'm not
Yeah,
calling him a boogeyman because I ain't trying to paint that picture. But I'm
right.
telling you, nobody's knocking down the door to fight the WBO champion of the world. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no. You know what I'm saying? Jensen Saka was one that believed in himself. That's why I said you can go back and look at that. He believed in himself. There's never been a Japanese welterweight champion, and you know he believed in himself, and he said it's on the first. This is the first welterweight Japanese fight in 36 years. So he wanted to make history, and he believed in himself, and he felt that he could do it. So that's where he came from. After that, there's nobody else openly calling my boy name. Or who else did in the weight class? Let me see, in the weight class. So
You got
that matters.
Mario.
Polanco. No. I'm talking about the one. I'm talking about calling my son name. Rohan
Okay.
Polanco, not sure if you know him. He would top rank. We'll fight somebody like him or whatever else, but like a keep alive fight or whatever we got to.
Yeah.
We can't get no unification bouts. I think Rashida Ellis will fight somebody like him. You know what I'm saying? To get a keep alive out. But other than that,
Do you think with this fight coming up with Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao, do you think there's a chance there that Manny Pacquiao could turn back the clock and win?
say it again now.
You got Mario Barrios fighting a legend in
Oh,
Manny Pacquiao.
that's his manager, man. That's his manager right there. That's B manager.
Okay, salute. Do you think there's a chance there that he's able to, you know, pull off a victory? I'm talking about Manny Pacquiao, and if so, would there be a fight that you're willing to take? I mean, what do you
Absolutely,
think about that?
absolutely, man, absolutely. Again, we're gonna show the boxing world how real fighters are supposed to move. I like how Devin Haney and Bill Haney is talking. I don't have no disrespect or no dismay
Definitely,
towards Devin Haney or Bill Haney. I like how they talking. They got my son on the list to fight. I would love that fight. You know what I'm saying? We gonna show the boxing fans and we gonna show the boxers how a real champions move. You see, we over here in Japan because we are world champions. We're not state champions. We're not regional champions. We're not country champions. We are world champions. That means you champions of everybody in the world. You're the best in the world. And you got to prove that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, even back in the day, Marvelous Marvin Hagler going across seas and defend his belt. Van Holyfield that went across seas. Lennox Lewis, of course, back and forth across his way on the sea and the other side of the sea. That's how you build. Mike Tyson fought in Tokyo. That's how you build household names. You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
So we trying to do an old school style. And for you to be the best in the world, you got to prove the best in the world. And win, lose, or draw, we willing to prove that we the best in the world.
When did y'all arrive in Japan and how's things going over there? Is anything
June
different with the training?
June the 4th. June the 4th. No,
June.
no, no. The training itself, B was already ready. He already got his sparring in. He already in shape. Everything is already good. So we just had 2 weeks to keep staying. 2 weeks of staying ready.
2 weeks of staying ready. And
Yeah.
so as far as you don't think well by y'all getting there early, we definitely know that time and time change and all that won't play no factor. That's a good thing about y'all, saying going early. You know, do you see like, when you go over to these different countries and stuff and take these fights, do you worry about the judges and stuff like that?
And
Did
of
that ever
course,
cross your mind?
anytime you go on enemy soil, enemy territory, especially enemy country, it's gonna always be that worry. But to be honest with you, we're not looking forward to go the distance. So my
Definitely.
son got it. My son walk around with the judge and the jury with him all day, every day.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? In his fist, so he walk around with the judge and the jury. So as long as he got them with him, that's all we need.
Definitely. So you already letting it be known. Y'all ain't even trying to worry about the judges. Y'all trying to take
Um,
care of business to get them out of there.
listen, that's the only way.
That's definitely the only way. That's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what I like to hear. Now,
Right.
there's been something said. You brought up Devin Haney name, and Devin to me is like your son, man. I got a lot of respect for Devin and Bill because Devin Haney is trying to fight everybody. And if he
That's
say
what
he
I
want to
like that.
fight you, if
Right.
he say he want to fight you, I can believe that he wants to fight you. So I think that's gonna be a real big fight, Devin, man, and your son Brian, man. That's gonna be one of those fights, man, that I
You
can't
know
wait
what's
to see.
crazy is Devin is in Japan. I don't know why he in Japan. Maybe he coming to the fight, but Devin is in Japan. You can go check his IG. He's in Japan.
Oh, so he over there.
He over here, so maybe he's scouting. Hopefully, he's scouting for my son and call him out next.
Well, it might be he might try to take the ring and ask for the microphone, and we might
That's
get a
that,
call
man.
out.
That'll be wonderful, man. That's how you build. That's how you build a fight. Come over to a whole nother country. Well, yeah, we can fight over here. I like that fight with that man. These Japanese fans are. Man, listen to me, man. This ain't no knock on our country, our people, whatever, man. These Japanese fans next level. Go look at any Japanese boxing and go look at it. Man, it's next level. These
Right,
fans
the way
so
they
these
treat him.
fans are so respectful. Man, they amazing fans.
That's good. What do you think about what Turkey Ali Sheik had to say about, or what he's starting to move? Like I'm starting to see a lot of things out of him that I don't like. I think he's good for boxing in a sense, but now with this cutting off the ring and telling people, he's trying to make the ring smaller. I mean, how do you feel about everything he's saying?
I mean, he trying to. I don't know about the no running rule. I understand him trying to make it exciting or whatever else, but I look at it this way: people do changes. They make changes to the ring size based on sometimes, like if you got let's say you got a promoter would do this. Let's say you got Mike Tyson, right? You got a guy
Yeah,
that's a mover. You got a Mike Tyson because Ali or somebody who a bigger mover. They'll make the ring smaller, meaning the venue itself, you're fighting in this size ring. That like they do that anyway. So to be honest
yeah,
with you, it's really not unheard of as much as people may think. You feel what I'm saying? It's not
yeah,
unheard of. If you're a boxer, you got a ring. There's ways to get around and to do what you need to do without all the excessive moving. So I honestly, personally, don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I don't care one way or the other, to be honest with you. I'm not saying I
yeah,
like it. I'm not saying I
yeah.
dislike it. I don't have a problem with it.
I just think that, you've been around boxing a long time too. And, in boxing, people, there's different styles. Boxing is not fighting. In a fight, most people gonna stand right in front of each other and slug it out. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna do what they do. But in boxing, there's plenty of styles. You got fighters that move a lot, you got fighters that flat foot. You have all the counter punches. There's many
Right.
styles to boxing. So I don't know in the sense that in the way he's saying it, does he really know what he's saying? But if he's bringing that up and saying about Devin Haney, Shakur Stevens, it's always been my thing that you as a fighter should know how to cut off the ring. Do you think that there's a fighter's job to know how to cut off the ring?
All right, it's absolutely a fighter's job to know how to cut out the ring, but period, you got to think about what we're talking about. They call Floyd Mayweather a runner. I hope
Yeah.
me and you both know Floyd Mayweather wasn't a runner.
Oh,
Floyd
definitely,
Mayweather
definitely.
didn't listen. Floyd Mayweather didn't do excessive movement. I think, and I'm a fan of Shakur Stevenson. I think in the De La Santo fight that Shakur did do excessive movement and running. He damn near took off and ran one time. He did. You go back and watch
Yeah.
that fight.
Oh no, I agree with in
William,
that fight right there. He did. He definitely did.
yeah, William Skull did excessive movement.
Yes, he
Again,
did.
it's up to the fighter. It's up to the fighter to be able to cut the ring off. But you take like a Floyd Mayweather. I think personally that Floyd Mayweather could be in an 18 by 18, 20 by 20 and do the exact same thing he did and make those exact same moves he made. And I don't think he'll have an issue. And that's what
I agree
boxing
with
is.
you.
And
I
that's what
agree with you
boxing
on
is.
that.
And that's what boxing is. And that's why I don't have a problem with the ring thing and everything he's saying because it just, it gives you less room. But if you know how to box, you know what you're doing, you can make it happen right then, in place. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we see Floyd do it. I've seen Shakur do it. Shakur did it with what Jamil Herring, defensively, just took it to him, block, 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 catch, catch. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm good. The
definitely.
size of the
I
ring, the
think
size of the ring don't matter to me.
right. I think with the De Los Santos fight, I think that was more we seen a product of him having not having good hands and being hurt. I think that did put more pressure on him to move around. Now I could be wrong about that, but I've seen much better performances. I think that was one of his worst performances ever. But
It
I've
was
seen
his
him.
worst. It was his worst in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of his worst. Now,
Yeah.
Keyshawn Davis, we seen all the stuff that went on with him, and I up until that point, man, I like Keyshawn Davis, but that right there just really rubbed me the wrong way with the way he conducted himself. What do you think? Do you feel like they're gonna suspend Keyshawn Davis behind this what just took place?
I think they really should. I think they kind of almost got to like certain things that people can't get away with because you open the door for others to do the same damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of got to, man. They got to make an example. They can't let it happen. They can't let it go like that. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I think a stern warning need to be made. I think that Keyshawn Davis was a little bigger. His head was a little bigger than it needed to be, and I'm talking about like thinking he bigger than what he is. And I just I think they need to be checked at the door. That's all. That's what I'm saying about thinking need to be dealt with right now. Is I think you need to check that kind of shit at the door so we ain't gonna go
Mm-hmm.
no further with this type of madness and to make an example out of you for everybody else who even want to try to do this kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah, because that's crazy, man. For that to happen, had that been, in Philly or something like that, ain't no telling what would have took place or what could have happened, man. That could have got real ugly. I'm just glad it didn't go no farther than what it went. But to go in the locker room and head but a guy, man, like you already didn't make weight, which I couldn't understand. I mean, do you think there was Keyshawn knowing that he was gonna have trouble making weight and just going to 140? What do you think the real situation with that is?
I don't know. Again, I don't like. I like what's the name? Abdullah Mason. I
Yes,
like
sir.
Abdullah Mason, and I
Mm-hmm.
understand where Keyshawn was coming from. With a man saying he want to fight. Okay, cool. I understood the boxing part of it and the competition part of what he was talking, but it got confusing. It got confusing when he didn't make weight because it's like and when he didn't make weight and then came back and said he knew he wasn't gonna make weight, or pretty much, and came back and said he gonna move up next fight anyway. So then it comes back to, well, why the hell was you pressing Abdullah Mason? Again,
Right.
I was a fan of both. I'm not a fan of Keyshawn no more. I was a fan of
Definitely.
both, before this happened. But I just don't understand why would he press that man like that if you knew damn well you wasn't even gonna be at that weight class next fight. Tomorrow, let's do it next. That didn't sit right with me. But it is what it is. People do what they do for whatever reason they're doing it for, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like you. I was a fan of Keyshawn. Right now at this moment, I'm definitely not, man. I wish that young man well. I think I think he was acting like he was a bigger star than what he really is. I think even though stars don't really carry themselves like that, you know what I'm saying? Like some people when they get to thinking they big time, they start to act a little funny and different and do things they shouldn't be doing. And I feel like that's what we seen from Keyshawn. And like you said, he might get suspended for 6 months or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He might get suspended,
Well,
fine. And what's crazy, the brother that got beat, he wasn't even in the locker room. He didn't come in there.
right,
I
right,
don't
right.
believe he did. I know he didn't have
Yeah,
nothing to do with it.
right, right. So it's somebody else trying to strain some business. I mean, the business shouldn't have been handled in the ring. We in a fight sport. You know what I'm saying? That's why we in there. That's what you in there for. Like if you got beef with it, okay, well let's do this. Let's come back and say, well, you know what? I take you and get in the ring and call him out and say you want to fight him again because you got that no contest against him because of that weed charge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I
But
mean, it's different
Keyshawn,
ways. Yeah.
I don't even want to focus on Keyshawn. Abdullah Mason, that young man right there. Do you think that he is the goods from what you see? What do you think about him?
I think that's the next. My son is the youngest heavyweight. I mean, the youngest welterweight champion in the world. I mean, I'm sorry, the youngest champion in the world. Period. As
Yeah,
far as male champions in the world right now, I think Abdullah Mason is next up, his next fight. And yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's good so far. A lot of things are have yet to be tested or yet to be done, and see how he act. But I think they moving him in a great way to build a confidence that he need to be the best that he need to be. You know what I'm saying? It's a way you
yeah,
move a fight, and I think they're moving him in the right way when it comes
yeah,
to that.
yeah. They definitely is. And my brother Crush, the legend, said, "Man, Abdullah the truth." I agree 100% with you. I think he is the truth. And
Yeah,
Floyd Schofield, we got Floyd Schofield and Tevin Farmer coming up. I think
right.
that's a very big fight for Floyd Schofield. I'm
What day is that
actually,
on? That the 21st?
man, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know the exact date. Is it the 21st?
I think it might be like it's something like that. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that fight, do you feel like it's a 50-50 fight?
I can't say, man. I can't say. I haven't really. I honestly don't think Florida has been tested enough to say that. I don't
Right.
know. Like I said, a lot go into that. A lot go into that, and it's like I've said on different interviews. Just because you see a fighter fight one way or act one way with another fighter doesn't mean they're going to fight another way and act that way with another fighter. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes fighters don't allow you to get away with certain shit, like with um with what's his name, Floyd Schofield. Sometime with the leaping and the leaping punches and the timing of the leaping punches. You got it. There's an art to that. I know that shit sound crazy, but it is. You got to have timing on that. You got to know when to do it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go jumping around. And even on the bag, I see that he comes off the ground a lot. And I'm talking about Schofield here. So
Yeah,
I honestly don't know. There's gonna be a tear that need to be seen, and this is just gonna be his biggest test.
I agree. Me personally, I got Tevin Farmer winning that fight
I was about
by
to say
decision.
I'm going for Tevin Farmer though, only because they were talking shit about his eyes, and I ain't like that.
I ain't know that, man. That's crazy. But
Yeah, talk
I
shit.
think
Yeah, yeah. The
listen,
apostles talking shit about his
Tevin Farmer.
eyes.
Yeah, but Tevin Farmer, you say what you want to say about him. He's battle tested. He's a veteran. You know what I'm saying? Knows his way around the ring. Uh, it's hard to. It's just hard for me to see Floyd Schofield winning this fight. I think it's gonna be a masterclass performance from Tevin Farmer.
Yeah, I mean it's a very good possibility of that. It's a very good possibility that I've been seeing Tevin Farmer been flat footed lately.
Yeah,
It depends on whether Abdullah can get around that effectively or not. You know what I'm saying?
Floyd.
Just because you're moving, don't mean you know how to get around punches. It don't mean you know how to get it. Because there's ways to do everything, and I'm thinking in my mind like it's ways to do everything. You got to know what you're doing and know how to get away with it. You feel what I'm saying?
Definitely,
So,
definitely, I agree.
but I think Devin, I
So,
think not Devin, I think Tevin is a perfect test, I don't want Floyd Schofield to use his O, lose his O at such a young state of mind. But
yeah,
I also don't think a loss to a good regular fighter like Tevin Crawford. I mean, Tevin
Tevin Farmer.
Farmer would. Yeah, I don't think that'd be the end of his career either. I think he'd be fine.
I don't think it will either. And Crush said he called Tevin Farmer the Cookie Monster. Man, Crush, you
Yeah,
wild, man. Yeah. I don't think it'd be the end of his career either.
yeah,
We seen him in the last two fights, man, with Zapata. Tevin Farmer looked good to me. And
he
speaking of
did.
Zapata, he got a
Yeah,
big fight coming up with Shakur. I told people this right here, and people think I'm crazy when I say this. Some people do. I see it being a wash. I got Shakur winning 10-2, 9-3, however it may be. I got Shakur winning like that.
uh, I don't know. Looking at the output of Zapata, like I said, you got to look at who you in and who they've been in there with and what they've been doing. And so it's kind of hard to gauge them because you are in there with a different fighter. Like when you hear fighters say, "Yeah, but he ain't never been there with me," believe it or not, that shit really means something. If you are the
It
good,
do.
you know what I'm saying? They
It
really
do.
do. They really do. When they tell you, "Yeah, but he ain't been there with a fighter like me," and if that fighter is special and he has something like some kind of anomaly about him, that really does matter. What I think that Shakur does very, very, very well is he disrupts offense. He disrupts his opponent's offense. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say how, but he disrupts it. And when he disrupts their offense, it gets you out of rhythm. It gets you out of rhythm. And then just like I was telling you before, when about the Schofield thing, it's about the fighter you're gonna be. Who are you gonna be that day? I don't think the
Right.
Zapata is gonna be the Zapata that we've seen before. So I got Shakur winning too by wash. I agree with you on that.
And the reason something you just said is key. I don't think people pay attention to this. It's something I pay attention to. Floyd Mayweather would fight fighters. They would talk about they were pressure fighters, or they even with Manny Pacquiao, they let their hands go. But every time they got in there with Floyd, they definitely did not throw the same amount of punches they threw against other fighters.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I think people missing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what
but I can tell you why. I can tell you why. Some these are ways that these are things that make you change who you are. Power, like you're doing something, you get cracked real hard, just like with Rolly when Rolly hit Ryan and he dropped him. You notice what
Mm,
Ryan did. Ryan was dead from that point on. Ryan didn't try to do nothing. Ryan didn't even try to make a fight. You know what I'm saying?
sure
Um,
didn't.
power change who you are. Counter punching, good counter punching changes who you are. Because it's like punches coming at you, the punches coming at you that you don't see, and those are the worst punches. You know what I'm saying? So you threw a punch, and you threw that punch with the expectation of it landed, and all of a sudden something came back and hit you in your damn mouth that you didn't know was coming back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good
So
old pool counter.
yeah, exactly. So counter punching will make you change the way you fight, and what else will make it way you change the way you fight? I think counter punching. I'm sure there's something else I'm missing, but definitely counter punching the power right now make you change the way you fight.
Yeah, it definitely and sometimes like a Lomachenko style, great footwork can make a person change.
There you go. There you go. Cause you it have you looking foolish. Perfect.
Yeah,
That was good observation. It have you looking foolish when you punching at something that ain't there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That was
man.
good job. Good
Lomachenko
job.
frustrated a lot of people off
You
footwork.
you helped me out. You helped
So
me out. You're absolutely right. Like you trying to clobber something. He ain't there no more. He done moved around, caught an angle on you. Something like you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. But I used to love to watch him. And when he was in his prime, I'm talking about it was beautiful to see. Lomachenko had some of the best footwork I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? And I used to love to watch him frustrate fighters and stuff. Richards and Hitchens. What do you think about him as a fighter? You seen his fighter, and what do you think about his performance against George Campos?
I think two things. I think that again, although I'm a fan of, but I got to put it all together. Although I'm a fan of Devin Haney, I like Devin Haney, I like Bill Haney, I respect the whole thing about them. I'm not a fan of Teofimo Lopez, but I got to keep it. I got to keep it across the board.
Yeah,
First, let me say I think that win that those two wins that Devin Haney got over George Kambosos is aging horribly. And I think that loss that Teofimo took to George Kambosos is aging even worse.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't think it's not even about him getting nine. I mean, them boys figured it out. What's his name? Richardson went out there with a style very, very similar to Devin, and he did it better than Devin. I mean, it was a masterful performance. Good jab, basic. Wasn't nothing flashy. Wasn't nothing. It was basic. It was a basic performance. I'm
yeah,
watching George. I'm watching George Kambosos. And I've seen George Campbell's I'm not okay, Richard Hitchens. I've seen him in real life, so I know he's about what 5'9", 5'10" or so.
yeah.
So, and he got good reach on him. So George Campbell's is I don't know what 5'6", 5'7",
I think
and
he's 5'6".
the style that George Campbell's the style that George Campbell's has for a fighter like Hitchison, and Devin Haney is the worst style. You're gonna need to be a Lomachenko. You're gonna need to be you know what I'm saying, somebody that can slide and get inside or do something different. George Kambosos was trying to be more of his nickname, ferocious. He was trying to
Yeah,
be more ferocious with no skill behind it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So he was trying to be more ferocious than just come in and get this and grit that. And unfortunately, science don't work that way. You put your hand out of the arms longer than yours, they can crack you and you're gonna stop coming in. Like it was a terrible performance by George Kambosos. I respect his heart, so I agree with him on that after the fight, saying what he said. I respect in the fighter. They get in the ring and give it his all and do what they do. I
Yeah,
respect his heart. I respect him trying. I think he did give it as much as the effort as he could. I saw the fight getting took out of him the whole time. But again, I think it was a great performance by Rich Saints.
I do too, and I say this right here now. I think it definitely was a better performance, but to Devin's credit, Devin did go to Australia twice. You know what I'm saying, to the man's home country, and he beat him in his own home. You know what I'm saying, in his
Right.
own country. So that plays a factor in some of the things too. But Devin Haney and Richard Hitchens, Richard Hitchens, hard for me to say his name too. But I would love to see that fight. I would love to see those two guys. I know they got like a grudge thing going on right now. but I think their styles are similar, and they both have two of the best jabs in boxing. Man, those guys got some jabs on them. I think that'll be man. I think it'll be a really interesting fight.
It'll be a very interesting fight. I think Devin. I think unfortunately the I can't call it a loss or whatever it was. The fight that the damage he took. I'm gonna say damage. The damage that he took against Ryan Garcia. I think he still needs to work himself back from that. I think his last fight showed that he wasn't mentally already there. That can be dangerous. That can be dangerous to not mentally already be there. You got to be careful about how you move yourself getting back in the game. I think
Right.
he probably need to put the. I think he probably need to put the ego to the side a little bit right now. I mean, if it was my son, I know what it is. I know how it is. I know how famous he is. I know people like to talk shit, but they're already talking shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I would keep it real, and I would just be like, look, you know what I'm saying? That fight, obviously, did something to him mentally or whatever else. I mean, you could even use steroids. Man was on steroids. Got a man with steroids in there, so this and that. You can say whatever you want to say, but he needs some tune-up fights.
He
He
do.
needs some. He
He
needs
do.
some tune-up fights. He needs some keep alive fights. Maybe three of them. At least two more. You know what I'm saying? See how he look, get confidence back in himself, and then we could talk about him and hit your thing. Because we don't know what we're gonna get. We don't know the Devin we're gonna get, so we can't even make a fair assessment of what Devin gonna do and how he is. You know what I'm saying? As a whole.
I agree with that. That last fight, that I give Devin a pass on that fight. And Crush said that Cambos is easy work in his opinion. I agree with that. For those type of styles, he was definitely easy work. But I gave Devin a pass, knowing what he was coming off of.
Yeah, I understand.
People
Yeah,
said he
yeah,
didn't look good.
yeah.
He's not ready really right now to take on one of those challenges. In my opinion, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, he need to get back. I never I never said nothing. I never said nothing ill about his performance. It was an ass performance. Keep it real now. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah,
do understand it. I do understand what was going on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was clear. Like I said, I will be honest with myself, and I said out loud, like, yeah, this happened. That happened. It's PTSD. We all go through
yeah,
it at some time or another in life about one thing or another. It just is what it
definitely,
is. Yeah, it just is what it is. That's life.
man. I agree with that. What do you think maybe Devin? I don't know if he's gonna be fighting at 147 or he's gonna be trying to fight at these catch weight to 143, 144. But there's a lot of guys now, they're kind of tiptoeing around your son's weight division. And there's a lot of there's gonna be a lot of competition. I think the 147 division is gonna be one of those divisions for something. It's something about the 147 division in a way that is always gonna be exciting fights. So, with that being said, like you said, you got your son fighting on June 19th. You take care of business. Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao got their upcoming fight. That's a very big name. Would you prefer, just because of Manny being a legend, would you prefer to have that fight?
Absolutely. I would prefer Manny to win. I prefer Manny to win because of he is who he is, and that would be amazing for him to get the win, and that would give. I know people talking trash about him being so old, but that would give him some of his credibility back. You know what I'm saying? Of
Mm-hmm.
course, now we got the win. Well, when we get the win over him, we'll still get took away because it was an old man again. But okay, but that old man effect got beat Barrios. You know what I'm saying? That's what we'll
Yeah.
be able to. That's what we'll at least be able to say. You know what I'm saying? So I would love for him to get that win.
Then one thing about it though, he also, when we were talking money, Manny Pacquiao brings a lot of revenue to the table. I think you get a fight with Manny Pacquiao or Floyd, Manny has a whole country behind him. No matter, what I'm saying, how long you been at the ring, they gonna support whatever he do. So getting a fight with him, it definitely brings revenue.
Like I said, man, I know about the Japanese fans. I don't know about the Filipino fans, but I know, man, they got a lot of fans across the world. So I guess that's maybe Asia as a whole or whatever else. But yeah, no, Manny gonna bring them out, and Manny gonna make them pay, and Manny gonna get that support from his fan base.
Definitely, man. Listen, I'm gonna let you get out of here in just a minute, Mr. Norman. It's 4:07 my time. What time is it over there?
6:07 p.m. It's Monday. It's Monday 6:07.
Oh, okay. So it's 6:07 p.m. over
I'm
there.
13. Yeah, I'm what you in the mid? Where you at? What state you in?
Oh, well, I'm in Tennessee, so I'm like an hour different from. I think Atlanta had the
From
hour ahead
Atlanta,
of.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you was at Central Time, right?
Yes,
All right, so we 14 hours ahead of you.
14 hours. Okay, 14
Ahead,
hours.
yeah, we 14 hours ahead of you. It's 608.
Okay, before we go, man, let everybody know about the fight and what y'all plan on doing.
Oh man, look, we look again, like I said, we're looking to make statement performances only. We're not going there to look mediocre. We're not going there to box. We're not going there to just look good. We're not going there to be flashy. We ain't going there to stand outside and dance, do the back head bounce, do backflips. Like we ain't gonna do none of that. That's really not even hard to do, to be honest with you. Because all you gotta do is stay outside of range. That's why I tell people get all up in arms about nothing. Like people stand outside of range and go to dance and do some shit ain't that they just did. So I'm like, come on, bro, it's the dumbest shit ever. We ain't going there to do all that. We're going there to take care of business, get right to the point, and we in clean, out clean. We go on
That's right. And from
with the
Crush,
belt, with the belt we came with.
with the belt you came with, man, and Crush the Legend said, I need a KO from Young Norman. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? He said, that you heard it, Crush. Absolutely, man. This
Crush,
is
yeah,
CDK
crush.
Sports
Hey,
Talk
crush. Well,
Network.
I
Go ahead.
appreciate your crush. You gonna get it. I appreciate it. You gonna get it. We ain't playing. We not playing with these people, man. I'm not again. Nothing more respect to them. Nothing more respect to their culture. God made it a culture. Very respectful. But we ain't. You in the ring with my son. We ain't coming to play with you.
You already said that you're looking for the knockout. Ain't that's what it's and that's what y'all come to do. Take care of business. You ain't trying to leave it in the judge's hands, like you told me earlier. Especially when you're in somebody else's territory, country, or whatever. It's best to handle business.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Man, listen up, everybody. I appreciate y'all tuning in this time of morning. This CDK Sports Talk Network. Hey, it's always an honor, man. The privilege to have you on here. Thank you for the time, man. Thank
I
you. And I'll
appreciate
be
the support,
tuning
man.
in. You definitely know I'll be tuning in, supporting your son on the
Okay,
19th.
boss. All right. I appreciate you,
We out.
boss.
You
Okay.
welcome. We out.